Hey there, folks. This is the Superluminal. I am Alec, and today we are playing the demo version of Outlast 2 by Red Barrels. This is the PlayStation 4 version. I believe the full version is to be released on PC, PlayStation 4, maybe Xbox One, early next year. Just off the bat, as a disclaimer, I'll say that I did play the entire demo for this particular video, so if you are looking to be surprised at all by the ending of this demo, go ahead and turn it off now and play it for yourself. However, I don't believe that anything within the demo is going to be a spoiler to the game itself, because I think that'll be pretty clear towards the end in terms of this particular character. As you can see here, I'm just one of these old school dudes who needs an inverted axis to play, so just fucking around with the controls a bit, learning some functionality. The first Outlast was, I gotta say, one of the reasons I played. I talk about Limbo a lot. I talk about Braid a lot. Outlast was one of the reasons I built a gaming PC. And got so interested in gaming again, because I realized that there was a very accessible indie market out there. And, a lot of people are going to call Outlast, and, in this demo you're going to see that there is a lot of jump scares. I'm sure that's more of a marketing thing from their perspective. I found the first Outlast extremely psychological and very strategic in the way that they... not overly difficult, but just in the way that you have to navigate the world using just a video camera, because oftentimes a lot of the different areas in the world they create are completely without light, so you need to use the night vision feature on your video camera that they provide you, which is pretty cool. But again, this is a demo, so from a marketing perspective, they're going to have to show you. They're going to have to, get some people excited. This is obviously, with the success of the first Outlast, they're going to try to get a lot more people on board with this one, and hopefully, I don't know if I'm not sure if they're going to consider like a $60 price tag on this one. The first one I think I got for $20 when it was brand new, so. But yeah, I love the first one, and this demo is very well made. Now, even though I am playing this on PlayStation 4, I will say, it's a dead person. Lots of bugs eating them up. I will say that I checked the PC specs for the release, and they are remarkably low for how beautiful this game has turned out to be. And I'm sure it looks... I saw my friend play the PC demo, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. So, they're giving it that your ability to have a lesser machine probably and still enjoy it. So, I think that's a big deal for a lot of PC gamers, is not having to shell out $2,000 for a gaming PC when that you might have something that's a couple of years old that's just as good, and for your application anyway, and you can still enjoy a great game like this. The first Outlast took place in a mental asylum. I don't know in what was this spooky dude over there. I don't know in what way this is going to relate story-wise, if at all. Again, I'm checking out the different mechanics because I remembered from the first one that you could hide in many different ways from the creatures or the people in the game. Yeah, again, I don't know if the story is going to relate at all to the first Outlast. This one seems to take place in a sort of a backwoods, I want to say southern, but who knows, but a very kind of Appalachian, what I imagine to be, in the hills of where I come from. So the Appalachian Trail type of thing, out in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, I just picked up a battery. That is for the video camera that you are going to use. Again, I'm checking out some of the functionality of the hiding system here. Hopefully, with this, given YouTube's ability to fuck up videos. Hopefully you can see this all right, given how dark it is. I'm gonna maybe bring up the contrast and the brightness a little bit just to help you out. But yeah, so far so good. Probably should have used the video camera a little bit more for this particular sequence, given how dark it was. The sound in the first game was incredible, and I gotta say, just opening up windows that was a cool little feature. I gotta say that they don't seem to have slacked at all in the sound department in this game either. You know, visually you're not gonna see anything overly stunning. We're not looking at a Crysis engine here. They just want to, again, offer accessibility, along with the fact that this game, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks great for the style they used. And it looks very similar to the first one. This is an outdoor venue, so I don't believe there was any outdoor levels or areas in the first one. So yeah, you can see a lot of religious symbolatry or symbolism in this particular game. There's a lot of people chanting throughout very quietly. During the beginning of the demo, before you get in, there's some chanting, and the actual Outlast logo is the T is an upside down crucifix. So they're always going to play on, again, so far you haven't really seen any jump scares. There's a bird that jumped out at us. A lot of this is kind of leading into that psychological thing I was talking about, just things you kind of step into that are just horrible to look at, but there's no actual threat currently. You know, as you can see, obviously there was children here at some point. We just stepped over some bodies. You can hear kids in the well here, so you look down. The first Outlast did have some supernatural elements to it, but throughout the game, really, it was more about the prisoners that you were with that were the most. That's why they offered probably the most psychological thrill. This one looks to be a little bit more in the area of the supernatural because you'll see in just a moment here as we cross through this vent. We snuck into something pretty serious here. But the game moves great. I will say one thing. I'm not really sure. You know, I played the first one on PC, and this one moves similarly. I thought this was kind of cool, just being in a brightly lit room suddenly, where you know, it kind of gives you a break from all the dank darkness and the sort of suffocating feeling of that air vent. No, what was I saying? Yeah, so the movement in this game, there's something about the mechanic of the movement in this game that gave me a little bit of a queasy stomach. A lot of jerking around with the head movement and stuff. I'm not really sure if that's something that they had in the first game. I'd have to go back and play it again to really know. But it did feel similar control-wise, and at the same time I was getting that kind of, like, I was getting a little bit of motion sickness. I don't see an overwhelming amount of motion blur, which can tend to give me a little bit of a sour stomach. But, you know, and I've played VR and things like that. I really don't get motion sickness very easily. This one, for some reason, just kind of, I don't know if it, whatever mechanics they are using while you control the player, the vision is kind of gets me a little bit. So you find a music box. Now again, this character I'm going to assume is not the character you're playing in the full version of the game. I can't say for sure, but I think there's pretty obvious indication that this isn't going to be the player. Not yet, but you'll see. So again, a lot of you can see. I don't think I noticed the first time that there's little flashes of shadow and whatnot, and now all the lockers going. I actually thought that for a moment here, you'll see I'm pacing around a little bit. I thought maybe I'd missed something. Trying out different doors, looking in, trying to trigger some kind of event. So I walked the whole way back here. I did find a battery. But this is one of the cool things about the game. You know, sometimes it does make you it makes you second guess yourself. So again, I don't know if you can really tell. Maybe it's just the camera here, but it does have sort of a squeezed perspective. Maybe that was what was causing me issues with my eyes. I don't think a lot of people are going to notice it too much. I was just I'm being nitpicky here as I go through the demo. Other than that, I've got to say I really hope the full version is much like this demo, because it scared the living shit out of me. This whole thing is, like I said, very suffocating. As you can see, I'm still trying to get through this door, and then suddenly they trigger this jump scare, which, you know, you might not be one for jump scares. That's fine. They are cheap. They can be, but they can also be used, I think, functionally in a game that plays off of it well enough. You know, I think that first and foremost, again, that psychological aspect is what's going to get you the most. So, you know, this is where I'm seeing some of that supernatural stuff, where you know, the door's missing now that you just passed through, and things are disappearing as you pass through them, and I didn't see quite as much of that in the first one, so I'm thinking maybe this has got a little bit more ghost aspect or demon, maybe, given that it's religious. There's a lot of, again, religious symbology in this. I'm thinking probably it's got to do with maybe something that these people from this area have stirred up. Again, this, you know, the first one wasn't that difficult. These are more of sort of, I mean, I don't want to call it a walking simulator, because there are plenty of ways you can die, right? So there's some hands. Got knocked out. So really quickly, again, I don't want to call this a walking simulator, because again, there's plenty of ways. I'm sure that they're gonna put. I mean, I don't know if there's a way you can die in the demo. Maybe there is, before the end. Whoops. Ooh. So at this stage, again, so they play on cinematics a lot, and you are interacting the entire time. There's no cutscenes. At least in the first one, there was no cutscenes. I don't think there is in any of this. And this is just me literally running through. So you feel sort of like you're choosing your own path, even though they've laid one out for you very obviously. You feel like you are doing, like, as you can see, I'm looking around trying to find the open spots. And they do a good enough job to get you to turn around and kind of, oh, I stumbled upon this area that... And there I lost my glasses again. And this is the coup de grace, the big ending, the climax. Hello, lady. And with the hoe, sort of, yeah, rip the whole crotchal area out. There you have the demo. Again, I think this game is looking to be absolutely brilliant. I'm going to pick it up. You know, I love the first one. It got me back into this whole gaming thing, so I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the flip later.